Greetings. In this video I will show you how to work with Railpro and adjust the sounds and lights on your locomotive. I've seen a few questions about this on the various forums, and so hopefully this answers them. Here on the test track we've got 5753 hooked up to a power track powered by Railpro, and let's go ahead and go to the locomotive now. Okay, on the locomotive screen down here at the left hand side you're going to see the Adjust Settings tab. You tap on that and then here it'll bring up the settings page. There are a number of pages here, and to get to them you can scroll through Next and Previous. So we'll go Next and kind of work our way over. And then here is where you have the locomotive button setup, which is at the top up there. So this screen corresponds to the screen that you see right here. All these function buttons down here, including the second page of function buttons, are all adjustable. So let's go back to our settings page. We're going to scroll back through, get to that page, and here we are. So you'll notice that we have the first button highlighted, and what the button is right up here. That is set as Bell. If you want to change the text, you can click here, change the text to whatever you want. If you want to change the picture on the button, you can click on that button, and you can change the picture again to whatever you want that is available. If you have something that you would like Ring to add, you can send him an email and he'll go ahead and add a button and probably include it in the next software update. What you'll notice is down here you can adjust what this button does. So right now it's set to sound. If I tap on that, I can change it to an action, I can change it to empty, I can change it to light, and then back to sound. So right now we have it on sound. When it's on sound, there are two modes of sound. One is maintained, which is right here. If I tap it again, it'll be momentary, meaning that if it's on momentary, the sound will only play as long as I am pushing the button. If it's on maintained, the sound will play after I let go of the button until I tap it again to turn it off. So this is set on Bell, and I want the bell to play on maintained. I can press the button, let the bell play as long as I want, and then tap it again to turn it off. Now down here is where you're going to have the actual sound file. Right now there's nothing on it. If I go here, it will pull up all the list of sounds that I have loaded onto this module. And right now I've got a couple of different files for the bell. I'm going to put it on Bell Electric, and that is a Ring Engineering file. Down here you'll see the sound volume. This is how you adjust individual sound volumes. So tap on that and I'll move it down. The bell is usually pretty loud, so I'll turn it down quite a bit here, and we'll exit page. Any adjustments that I make here have to be saved before the locomotive loses power. If it loses power, you'll lose all your settings that you did here. In order to save it, you're going to go exit page. It'll take you right back to the main adjustment page. Tap save. Right now my locomotive speed isn't all the way off, so I'm going to turn it down. And there you go. And it's saved. So let's test that. And there you go. Let's go back to that settings page. Okay, very good. And we're going to go ahead and look at lights. So I'll scroll through until I get all the way over to where I've got my light set up, which is on page 2. Okay, so here we are on a light. I have this one set up as headlight, and this is pretty much the same thing that you're going to do with sound. Again, button action, maintained or momentary. We're going to have it on maintained. Obviously for lights, there's not really an instance that I can think of where you would want it momentary. Down here is the type of light. Right now it's on on-off, which is what a headlight is. You can do other ones. If you have them loaded right now on this locomotive, I only have on-off and dim. Any other lighting effect you can download from Ring Engineering through the Railpro Assistant software, and that can be anything from Mars to beacon, strobe, ditch lights, really whatever you want. Down here is where you're going to select the output wire. It doesn't really matter what wire you have going to which light, as long as you set this correctly for what light you want to turn on. So to change it to a different one, you just tap, and they're color-coded and also numbered. So I can go through. This is an LM2S, and so there are 6 pins, or 6 outputs for light. And so it'll say the 6 pin, which is the secondary plug that's on the back of the LM2S. and so I can just kind of scroll through. So I've got my headlight on output 1, and you can go back and headlight goes on, although you probably can't see it from where you're at. You can see it there shining off my my thing. So very good. Now if you go back to the locomotive settings tab, here is where you have the master sound volume. I have this one turned down pretty low. I usually will set my master volume so that the loudest sound is not overbearing, meaning usually the bell is kind of the loudest and most annoying sound. So I have everything turned down to where that is at a manageable level, and then I will adjust every other sound individually to be appropriate for that. You can adjust sounds in real time. Let me turn on my my bell here. So we got the bell on. Let's go back to our settings page. Go back to our bell. There we go. So we'll turn it up. And usually this won't show up until you, there you go, until you adjust it again. So you can see how much louder that is now. So we'll go back. Actually, we'll do this. Let me turn it off the track. So we've lost power, and you notice how it went back to its previous setting because I did not save it. So one other thing I wanted to mention was adjusting sounds in real time. The master volume can be adjusted in real time. You'll hear it immediately. If you're adjusting individual sounds, the button will have to be refreshed, meaning that you have to activate the button again in order for the sound to change volume. So let me show you this. So if I have it on master volume here, you'll notice that you can hear the sound change in real time. But on the buttons, you'll have to change those by going through and cycling the buttons. So for example, the prime mover here, I have it set at that volume. If I cycle it up, you won't hear that sound change until I do something to change it, like notch up. You'll see how much louder that got there. So that, in a nutshell, is how you control the individual sound volumes. That's how you control your lights individually, and that's how you set up buttons. It's all pretty straightforward. Hope this helps.